Hi, Abuelita. Good to hear from you again. Not so much about your lab results. I want to make sure that we don't freak out. Fats are not bad. Fats are not our enemies. It's just we have to be careful and eat it in moderation. Otherwise, we start getting some of that bad stuff. Um, so the reason why I'm telling you that fats are not that bad is because cells are made up of fat. It kind of keeps if you think of a cell, it keeps the internal a solution, one kind, and then an external solution, so that membrane kind of keeps the two solutions going. We're made up of cells, so fats are kind of important. There's four kinds of fat that we're usually considering in science. They're called the fatty acids, and for those we're usually going to think about saturated and unsaturated fats. So for saturated fats, they're usually, if their carbon molecule is longer than 10 carbon atoms, they're usually going to be solid in room temperature. And for those, we can think of butter. Then we have the unsaturated fats, which basically have an introduced double bond. It gives it a little kink. So if it doesn't have any double bonds, it'll be straight. Otherwise, you'll introduce a kink. For those, what we usually think of is the oils, because they're liquid in room temperature. So just know that your unsaturated fats are going to be oils. And then we have what are called trans fats. Those are kind of made by scientists as a way to preserve some of our foods, because we don't want our foods to go rancid. We want to make sure that it lasts as long as possible, right? So we don't waste food. The thing about trans fats is that our body doesn't make them naturally, so it has a harder time kind of getting rid of them. So what it means by trans and cis fats is the orientation of the hydrogens. If the orientation of the hydrogens points the same way, it's a cis. If the hydrogens point away from each other, it's going to be a trans. You don't know a lot of organic chemistry, so it's okay. If you don't understand, don't worry. Then we have what are called our glycerides, and for those, we're usually going to think about triglycerides, because in health, that's what kind of starts affecting a lot of our health. So we want to make sure that we control the amount of fats we eat, because otherwise our triglycerides are going to go up. And then I have a little picture for you to show you another type of glycerol. It's going to be in our membrane. So if you notice, that little ball is going to be a glyceride that kind of puts two fatty acids together. And then we're going to have our non-glycerides. And one example is going to be cholesterol, which is going to be that yellow figure in there. So again, fats are not bad. Cholesterol is important in our cell membrane to kind of keep the structure from solidifying, and also from, to keep it moving, everything, keep it stable, So you kind of need your cholesterol. Then the last one that we have are complex lipids. So they're going to be our lipolipids or our glycolipids. Both of those are either used for transport or signaling the body, so those are also important. So when we eat a lot of fat, that's going to start affecting us. And if we're obese, it's also going to start affecting how fat works in our body. So, actually, I don't have a picture. I thought I did. Oh no, I do. This is what I was going to go to. We have our doctors are going to check our blood panels, and they're going to use basically what's called an adult triglyceride panel, ATP, and there's like a couple different standards of them. So we want to make sure that ours is below 200 milligrams per deciliter. And so what's going on there is there's a specific level to where it's healthy and a specific level to where it's unhealthy. So what happens is when you eat in your intestine, your body's going to start digesting, obviously, and then it's going to want to transport that fat to go to other places around the body for useful purposes. Then from there, it's going to travel through the lymph system, into the circulatory system, and into the liver. It's getting transported through things called chylomicrons. And as it goes through the body, it's going to start getting eaten up, in a sense, by what are called lipoprotein lipases. So it's just chewing up the big chylomicron into smaller pieces. When you usually have bad levels of fat, you're going to have high levels of low density lipids, and then you want actually high density lipids. Those are the healthier fats. And so what happens is, as they get chewed up, they can end up, I had mentioned this before in our inflammatory talk, but if they get chewed up and they're going to get chewed up, and if it gets stuck or there's remnants of it, it's going to start getting stuck in your blood vessels. Once it starts getting stuck in your blood vessels, your body thinks it's an inflammation. Then you're going to have mast cells that are going to go in, start going to chew it up, or it's going to start chewing it up, and it wants to get rid of it. And then if enough of them start showing up, then it's just going to be a lot of stack of them, as you saw in the picture. It's going to start causing clogs and high blood pressure and all that bad stuff. So, long story short, fats are not that bad, but if we eat too many, then that's when we start getting some of those problems like high blood pressure, obesity, and obesity-related diseases. So, moral of the story: try to watch the amount of fats you eat, but fats aren't bad. So don't freak out about eating a fat once in a while. All right, good hearing from you, abuelita. Have a good day and have a good week.